Hello, Craig. Hello, Tony. We're here to talk about your spectacular new film, Protein. It's, excusing the pun, it's strong meat. Now, Craig, I'm going to ask you first something a little bit light, but you get through a lot of meat in this. So, at any point, did you think when you finished filming, I'm going vegan?
No, absolutely not. No, no. If anything, it turned me on to meat, and no, no. It was brilliant. You're right. I do get through a lot of it, but when we were filming, only a small amount of it was actual real life meat, and thanks to Tony and the look he wanted, I got to eat some really tasty pork, beef. What was it? What did you use, Tony? I can't remember. It was beef,
I think
wasn't it?
we had pork and beef.
Yeah,
Pork was more visual, beef was for eating, but the actual
yeah,
shakes themselves was blended grapefruit and milk. So
yeah.
yeah, so that's quite healthy. That's basically just that's one of your five a day. That's fine. That's
Yeah,
Well, I was going to say that the meat looks fine, and the local butchers must have loved you. But the shakes, that looks like a bit of a one take wonder kind of shot.
it was again. It was, to be honest with you, I enjoyed it because I watched them making them. But a highlight of mine is when we finished doing one of those takes, and I looked across, and two crew members, one of them was like that, and the other person had her back to me and was just bent over. I thought, oh, that's good. I thought that's interesting because they know it's fake. I was chatting with them while the art department would make, and I thought, oh, right. So if we sold it in the room to them, then we're onto something.
funnily enough, I think it's the shakes that get people more than the violence.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, it
that it's
is.
very visceral. It's very very physical, isn't it? And
Mm.
when you look around screening rooms and cinemas, the
There's
strongest reactions are to the drinking.
Well,
It's not the cutting, the hammer, the whatever. It's the drinking, the flesh.
a
well,
bit where Sean goes, like where I
Yeah.
sort of do that, and you hear people in the room go, ah.
well, I was going to say, you know, you're doing something right when the crew who know what it is are
Yeah,
kind of, off camera, trying not to retch too much.
yeah, yeah.
So, Tony, I understand that the whole film has been sort of quite some years in the making. It started off as a short film, is that right?
Started off as yeah. I made the short film wrote the short film in 2013, and I think that made it in 2013 and in the summer, and then it came out in 2014. I'd worked with Craig previously on another short film, um, which we'd shot in South London called Large Double Room in Zone 2. And we'd become friends off the back of that. And I wrote this film and I invited him to audition for it. It wasn't a shoe in for him. We went through a good um, process, but yeah, he got that part and he was brilliant in it. And then we've been collaborating ever since, and we developed it into a feature. I wrote the script. He met up with some guys from Wales, Broadside Films, who had seen the short at Cardiff Film Festival, and they loved it, and they wanted to be involved in the feature project. Um, yeah, and then forward on a few years, and well, here we are. But forward on a few years, and I found myself in the wilds of South Wales, um, surrounded by blood and grapefruit and pork from Asda and Craig Russell. So it was yeah, and that was a 13. Well, it has been a 13-year process.
We've spoken about the scenes with eating the meat and the milkshakes and whatnot. For both of you, were those the most difficult scenes to shoot?
Um, I think I think when you're immersed in the world of a film, um, you become a little bit desensitized to the absurdity of what you're doing. Um, and obviously, with Smoke and Mirrors, you know that it's obviously not as bad as it's going to look in the edit. Um, but it didn't really get to me. I was just so focused on every moment of that film and getting the most out of it. I felt for Craig. Craig's character. He's a very good actor. He's I don't know if you're a method actor or not, Craig, but he takes his roles very very seriously psychologically, and I think physical horror is one thing, emotional horror is another thing. I think probably the most disturbing element of what I sat and saw on the monitor was the journey that Craig's character was going on, and I don't know how deeply that can affect the actor himself. So, I mean, that was probably the toughest thing for me, actually seeing that emotional unraveling as opposed to the actual physical body horror, physical gore and horror.
Well, I was going to say, Craig, I'm hoping, as this is a film about a strong element of cannibalism, I'm very much hoping that you're not a method actor.
No, no, I'm not at all. No, I think if the script is good enough, then that's it. It's all there, isn't it? It's all on the page. And Tony had done such a brilliant job of the script. I just did some research, a lot of research. I spoke to a couple of guys who suffer with PTSD. I had long conversations with a psychiatrist about PTSD and cannibalism. I watched as many documentaries as I could get my hands on serial killers, cannibals, PTSD, the military. Read as much as I could, and from all of that, alongside what Tony brought to the script, the job was all there, and it was. No, I don't. It doesn't bother me in real life. Sometimes, you've got to get in a little dark place before you do something. But I'm quite lucky in that it doesn't really hang about with me, and because we had such a brilliant, excuse me, and friendly, warm, funny cast and crew, it was a pleasure. It was good fun.
There is, I mean, despite the subject matter, there is a lot of humor in this, and quite a most notably Steve Mio, who is hilarious in this. And I'm just wondering, I know it's scripted, but was there a lot of improvisation in this?
There was a little bit of improvisation.
Not a lot, though. No.
Certain scenes. I mean, I think a film like this needs a little bit of comic relief. I think if it was, I remember when I saw the film Tyrannosaur, which is an amazing film, but it kind of starts off bleak and just gets bleaker and bleaker and bleaker. Yeah. I didn't want to make that. I wanted there to be, it's a very character-based film. There's lots of characters in there. I went to great lengths to prepare the backstories for the actors and to really flesh out, excuse the pun, those individual characters. And the vulnerability of Steve Mio's character, the insecurity, the bullying, it's that comedy comes out of that trauma that he's suffering as a human being, the fact that he feels like he doesn't fit in and he wants to be all these things that he's not, and his relationship with his mother. But yeah, just as far as the comedy is concerned, obviously Stephen, I should say, is an immensely talented actor, and he did bring I think like when he's dancing in his bedroom and he kind of punches and says sorry mum, things like little moments like that. But that's the magic of filmmaking, isn't it? And that's why in-person human filmmaking will never be replaced by the robots, because the magic happens when you least expect it, and that's all part of being on set, being with human beings, collaborating, creating a synergy and an energy, and seeing what comes out the other end. It might be inefficient, but it's that's the difference between good and great, I think.
One of my sort of very favorite parts of the film is Stephen Meo's mum, who we never see, and it's just this this voice off screen. So my question here is, who is that?
Well, she's Welsh royalty. That's Carol Parry-Jones.
Oh, really?
BAFTA winning Carol Parry-Jones. Yeah. So she and I worked together a lot, and she just I said
she wasn't. I mean, she wasn't there, obviously.
No.
So she was. We did all that. We had a Mexican first AD doing all her lines from the bedroom, which in the edit sounds absolutely ridiculous. Guy from Mexico City, Dan Flores, who came in and did a couple of weeks as a first for us. But yeah, so I went and recorded all Kev's mum's lines separately, and obviously we dubbed them all in. But yeah, it feels like she's in the next one.
So your first AD's voice offs are one for the deleted themes.
What you need to do is you need to think about everything Carol said. And imagine somebody shouting from upstairs.
Can I have some crisps?
Crisps.
You got any crisps?
Kevin.
I almost want to see that version of the film.
I'd forgotten all about that.
So then finally, the way that the film ends suggests that there's a sequel in the offing. Would that be right?
I would love that. sorry to interrupt, Tony, because I think Tony is really. I was going to say Tony is only just getting going. That's disrespectful. Tony's been making stuff for years, but I want to see more films by Tony, and he's written some other brilliant stuff that hopefully we will get made at some point. But there's definitely more. There's definitely more to do here, and this is why we made the feature, because that's how we felt after we made the short. There is more to tell, but now Tony has created this world, and now when you can see the depth to the characters he writes, and not just all these people we've been talking about, Kai Owen, Richard Ellis, Ross Hennessy, Gareth Bale, but the smaller people, like Carol's lines, only a few lines. I want to know more about her. I know she's dead now, but I'd love to know more about Justine's character. I know she's dead. I want
They're
to know
all
more
dead,
about
Craig.
yeah, but Andrew Lennon's character. So we either go before, we follow one of them, or the point I'm trying to make is you write more characters like that. That's what I want to see. You write more characters like
the
that.
guys that get out of this alive are Kezia Burrows,
The detectives.
the detectives, and Craig. So we've got four, and Andrew Lennon at the beginning. So we've got four living characters. Everyone else is dead. Unfortunately, the dead people are incredibly talented actors. So
Yeah, but the thought that maybe the two detectives get in touch with each other. I think he's gone again. Do you want to come with me? And off they go. Do you know what I mean?
I can definitely see that happening. It's the age old problem, isn't it? That sequels are normally crap, so it needs some proper. It needs
Ghostbusters 2 is pretty good.
it needs some proper thought.
Yeah.
Of how we develop it. The tricky tricky third album, tricky second album.
Second album.
Second album,
yeah. I mean, it's not off the cards. It's not off the cards. If there's an appetite for it, once again, excuse the pun, but if there's an appetite for it, then we will.
Yeah, that's it, isn't it? If this does well, and someone turns around to us and says, "If I give you 75 pence, will you make a sequel?"
Yeah.
We're like, "Well, that's more than."
Yeah, I think the key thing is, Simon. I'm getting on a bit now as well, and I can't spend another 6 years making a small independent film for no money.
yeah.
I don't think my missus would put up with that again.
We've all got bills to pay.
We have, yeah, we have.
Okay, well, thank you for your time, guys. It's quite a film. It's well worth a watch. So
Thank you.
thank you both for your time. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Simon. All the
Simon.
best. Take care, mate. Bye.
Thank you.